My name is Kenneth Bird, and my company is Crystal Edge Technology Screens using the ambient light rejection technology gain. We are the makers of Supreme Technology and the makers of the ambient light rejection 17, which I'm going to be doing some of the 17 demonstrations today because we're getting close to the 2021, and I want to start showing off a little bit more of this technology. All right, so right now in this demonstration, I'm going to be using, probably for the next couple of days, I'm going to be using just my 600 by 800 res projector at 720p SVGA because it's the only thing I'm going to need to use. So let me go over here real quick and show you. Well, first things first, let me go back. I got to get a couple of sample sheets and I got to get a measuring tape because my projector is back the distance. I think I got it back the full length of the of my theater room, which is probably around, I say 11 or 12 feet. It's back there. So let me go grab me a measuring tape and I'll be back. So my projector I'm using in the demonstration is a Viewsonic. Let me go in here and grab my menu because my sound is way too loud. Let me see. Audio. Audio settings, okay. Audio settings. We are way too loud sound. Audio volume. That's good. Not too far up. All right, so let me get a measurement and see exactly how far back from my screen. Ooh, back farther than I thought we was. All right. So we're at 13 feet back. I'm doing this in a 235.1 setup. Projector I'm using in the demonstration is a Viewsonic. So I'm gonna get you over here to what it looks like. I got some tapes propped up so I can just slam it in just right to fit the screen. This screen was set up for 235.1. So it is a PJD 5155. And my projector sits back around 13 feet. So I'll show you those measurements too. I had to disconnect my charger real quick. And that's the image I'm pulling off at 600 by 800 res 720p. And this is the technology we're using here is the black silver. Now let's show you where the measuring tape comes in at. Where my stand is sitting at, we are more than 12 feet. We're coming at 13 feet and some change in a fully lit environment. We're doing this in 235.1. As I told you before, the Viewsonic projectors have 235.1 capabilities, and try to do this with any other projector, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Now, I could have chose to use any one of these projectors in my demonstration. We have a full 1080p projector, another 1080p projector, 1080p projector. All these are 1080p projectors. These projectors have 1920 by 1200. Some are actually 1920 by 1080p. Could have used those. I chose to use my 720p projector at 600 by 800 res, 720p SVGA, a low res projector. Just to show to my customers and those who do business with me, sorry about that, I'm gonna caught around my stand, that you don't have to spend a lot of money when it comes to your projector. And that's the first thing people think. I gotta spend all this money Go out and spend the money for this and get that. No, you don't. Because the screen is supposed to do all the work. If your screen's not doing all the work, that means the projector has to do all the work. And if the projector has to do all the work, that means you got to spend some money on the expense of projector in order to get that picture quality that you desire. And then with this technology, that's something you don't have to deal with. Now, this right here is our mid-level class screen paint. It is a, what do you call the black silver. So black silver is a mid-level because it's a gray. Usually the darker screens actually cost a little bit more money. When you start getting to screens like elite screens, I'm gonna rewind this back because I had some, I'm gonna get all the way back to the beginning of this when I started this. Elite screens, when they start off, for any company, not just elite screens, any company, when they have their selection of screens, they will have the white screens, which are the cheaper ones. Just the ones I've actually buy to paint over. That screen right there would cost you maybe like $500–600. Then you go up to a screen that's a little slightly darker, a little lighter gray. Then you're talking about a good $800–900. Then the screen gradually goes up to a screen that's slightly darker, and now you're talking about $1,300–1,400. And then you start getting into the darker screens. These are what they call their flagships. These are the more advanced screens. These screens are going to cost you $3,000, $5,000, and so forth. That's what they're going to cost you. All companies have the same thing. Unless you have one company that just deals with all dark screens, like Screen Innovation. I've never seen a white screen from Screen Innovation, not ever. So I think they only deal with just darker screens. Then you're talking about screens, and depending on the company, depending on the size, depending on the shade, you're talking about thousands of dollars very, very easily. So when you see setups, you see those cheaper screens, those white screens, those are what they call the bottom dollar screens. Those are the cheap screens. They don't pull contrast, they don't pull color, they're poor when you put on ambient light. Doesn't make a difference what kind of projector you have. The picture quality is going to be crap right from the door. You're not getting anything from your projector whatsoever. It's like trying to run a race with no gas in your car. That's pretty much what you just did. So then you go and you get a gray screen. But then you realize that still, you got a slight little difference, but not where you want your screen to be at. And this is where they're going to edge you to go toward the more darker, high-tech screens, which now you're talking about some serious bread. You're talking about a good $3,000. There's no way in the world, and I'm going to tell you that right now. Do your research. I've already done mine. Can't find a dark gray screen under one of these companies under $2,000. Impossible. It'll be $3,000 and up. And these are just for 100 inches. That's it. They don't make a screen paint, they make projection screens, which means now you will pay for size. So now once you reach the 100 inch, you want 120 inch, it's gonna cost you more. You want 150 inch, it's gonna cost you more. Now, I don't know if you guys know anything about DNP Supernova. If you want 180 inch of this screen, it'll cost you $18,000. Yep, $18,000. This technology right here that we have, this is great technology. This is our black silvers. Our black silvers are considered to be our mid-level screens. This is what we call a bottom dollar screen in our world for technology, which this technology has gone against a DNP Supernova. It's going against a Dark Star 9, and it's going against Daylight's new Paxil, or I got to get it right. I just butchered their name completely, but it went against their screen and was able to beat their screen with no problem. I actually beat or blend in, which I'll do that demonstration today because I have the sample sheets on me. Now all this is being pulled from a 720p projector at 13 feet back in a fully lit environment. Let me know. And like I said, I'll give you free screen paint for a year. If you can show me one demonstration from one company using a projector of this caliber, and you won't find it. You know why you won't find it? Because when they actually set up this, first of all, they set up their environment for an ambient light controlled environment. Like I said, I was talking to somebody on the phone. I said, I don't understand how you call something ambient light rejection when you're using an ambient light controlled environment. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? You having a gun, not to use the term for gun, but just to put it in a metaphor. If you're using a gun, and this gun's supposed to be the most high-tech piece of machinery on the face of the planet, the ultimate weapon, it's designed to drive and destroy anything. But you have only certain surfaces that you can hit with it. which means, you know, you can't hit this, you can't hit that, or that, any other, it won't work. You have certain select areas that you can hit with it. That would be a pain in the neck if you was a sniper, because you couldn't figure out exactly what you could actually hit with it. Now, you can't hit wood with it. You can't hit glass with it because it doesn't work. You only hit certain objects. So either it's ambient light rejection or it's not. If it's ambient light rejection, you should be able to stick it in an environment and it should be able to pop off with no problem. Now, I can see about outside. Outside, you're going to have a lot more ambient light to deal with. But inside, it shouldn't be too much of an issue, especially when you're talking about the money that you're paying out. All right, so let me go grab something real quick. Parallax? I think it's parallax. I'm not sure. Parallax. All right, so we're going to get our sample sheets, because like I said, if I'm going to talk, I'm going to back it up. So here's one of the sample sheets. I think it's a parallax is right. The pure 0.8 gain, $5,000 for the surface right here. If you want a screen of that size, you're talking about an easy $5,000 for a 100-inch. Number one, you're going to pay for the company, because the company's going to charge you for their brand name. You're going to pay for the size of the screen, and you're going to pay for the surface, the color, and the performance. You're going to pay for all that. You're going to pay for. So we'll put that one right here. Before we continue on with this, because I have people who look at my screen and the first thing they think is, oh no, that has to be a black screen. That's not a black screen. That's actually a gray screen, and it's actually a light gray screen at that. That screen has a coding. Well, actually, we developed a code, and we told you about this. Blues have them. The 17s, all of them have 100% of this code. This is a code that we developed in our screen paint that allows for us to be able to, for the projector or the screen to be able to read color. Now, like I said, that's why Blues have that technology, and 17s and all of them, they have that technology 100% of them, because they can actually read a code. One of the codes that were actually put into the black silver was the fact giving the screen the ability to pull a contrast level. One of the things I said, the problem I have with gray screens is they fail miserably when it comes to pulling contrast levels. The screen is actually gray. So if I stand in front of it, a lot of people think it's a black screen. It's not a black screen. It's physically a gray screen. So I'm going to take it off the stand. We'll stick it against the black screen here, so you can see exactly how gray the screen is. Screen is gray, not black. And then consider the fact that how dark this surface is to my screen, or the Dark Star 9. Look at their sample sheets, way darker than my screen right there. But my screen is actually physically gray. It's a gray screen. It just has a code in it that these screens don't have. They give it the ability to be able to read contrast levels. And that's one of the problems that I used to have back in the day. I told you when I first started off, we had no interest in developing gray screens, because the problem I had with gray screens is the fact that they were lacking in contrast levels in the screens. The colors would wash out and all that. Just didn't like them. So, you know, that's why I decided to just work a little harder and engineer a gray screen that could pull a contrast level, but since we already had coding technology, it made it a lot easier. All right, so here's the Dark Star 9. Dark Star 9, I'll fall drop. There. Parallax. Gotta practice your name. Why don't you just use an easier name? If it's called like the parallel. It's a parallel. Something like that. Guess I'm gonna make it sound fancy, I don't know. All right, so there we are. We have our technology, which, like I said, because our sale is over, our sale went on from December. And for those of you who received your packages, you didn't get your blackout cloth, don't worry about it. You're going to be receiving another tracking number from us with the blackout cloth. Like I said, everything is delayed. Everything's all kinds of delays going on, and that's crazy. But yeah, you'll get your blackout cloth. Don't worry about it. We're going to send it to you. Just everything has delayed. That's the reason why we don't package blackout cloth anymore with our products, because by the time the blackout cloth gets here, the customer wants their product already. We want everything to be together, and we can't do that if one company's delayed. Remember, we don't make blackout cloth. We go to a third-party provider to do it. So we got to wait on them to bring it here. All right, so now against the screen, just straighten that up a little more because that's driving me a little crazy. Well, that's straight, right? Hold on for a minute. Let me look at this. That looks straight to me. There we go. So let's get up close. So here we are. We have the Parallax, which is around, I say, it's gonna be honest, about a $5,000 screen. That right there is a which one we got right here? This right here. Sorry about that. That is the Cinema Gray 5D right next to our screen here. Cinema Gray 5D. That is a $1,400 projection screen. Right here we have the Dark Star 9, as you can see right here. Dark Star 9 right here, right next to our screen. Dark Star 9. Get close and see it real quick. And I said it multiple times. That's a Dark Star 9. And then over here we have the Parallax. Parallax or Parallax? It should be Parallax. Sorry, Daylight. I am not trying to butcher your screen in any way whatsoever. It's just really hard to pronounce that name for me. All right, for me, not for everybody else. All right, so this is their screen right here, leaning against our technology right here. So as you can see, our technology pulls in an amazing level next to a screen that is going to cost you an easy ones. I think, okay, like I said, ones, this is $1,400. What did I just step on? Anytime something triggers up in the back, that means I stepped on something. Let's go back to that. See if we can get out of that mode. Oh, we're in the wrong one. We got two of these controls here. They both look exactly the same. So let's come out of this real quick. All right. And we're in a commercial. But anyway, we'll click past this real quick. There we go. And we got another ad coming up in a couple of minutes. Back-to-back ads. There we go. All right, so let's pause that again. Now, as I said before, as I was explaining that, you got to consider the fact that this screen right here is going to cost you around $1,400. This one right here is going to cost you around $3,000. This is going to cost you around $5,000. For our technology, I think it's like under $200. So it's under $200. So most you would pay for when it comes to our medium level screens, you would pay somewhere, if you're going to get a gallon of it, it would cost you around something like $229 for a gallon. And mind you, a gallon is going to paint a screen size up to 190 inches compared to a screen that's going to cost you somewhere between $1,400 or $1,300 to around $5,000 just for 100 inch. All right, so let's begin. Let's start. Try to bring my, like I said, 13 feet back, fully lit environment. And as I told you before, I will give you free screen paint for a year if you can show me a demonstration of any one of these big companies, any one of them using the projector that I'm using in this demonstration. It doesn't have to be the Viewsonic PJD 5155, but it would have to be in the range of a 600 by 800 res 720p projector SVGA. I guarantee you it's not going to happen. Because like I said, in their demonstrations, the background's always rehearsed. The environment is rehearsed, which means they use an ambient light projection environment. They know exactly where to put lights at. Then on top of that, they're using the most expensive, most up-to-date projector that they can possibly get their hands on. Because like I said, at that particular point, that just lets you know that the projector is doing all the work. Let me come over here. My floor is a little uneven in that spot. There we go. It also has a bit of an uneven area sometimes. And with some of these screens, you have to make sure you're right in the center because, like I said, they have something called a narrow viewing cone, and that basically throws your screen off. So I'm going to make sure we're doing all this fair and by the book. Now, one of the things your screen will be able to do, the screens will pick up a higher white level. But like I said, if your screen's picking up too high of a white level, that is going to be a problem because it means you're going to suffer when it comes to contrast. You're going to suffer when it comes to color. All that's going to be a problem. All right, so we'll let that run. And I'm going to go take care of this in the back over here. This right here is a 17. I'll be doing that demonstration later on today. 17. You going back on it? Not yet. Last cut right here. Oh, man. Get my drum pipe. Also today we're going to be talking about 235.1 setups. If you've been asking about 235.1, what kind of projectors, settings, what can they run off of it? Yeah, I got some stuff to tell you. Like I said, you may want to think about getting 2 screens if you're doing 235.1 because you're not going to watch everything off 235.1. Not everything. Only certain select things you do that with. So, just to recap real quick, because I got to go upstairs and get some emails done real quick. We're doing a demonstration on our mid-level screen paint. This is not the high end, this is the mid-level. This is the black silver. So black silver right now is actually going side by side to the Parallax by Daylight Screens, Dark Star 9, and the Great Cinema 5D. We're doing this on a projector that is 600 by 800 res SVGA 720p. That's it at 13 feet back in a fully lit environment. Just to show you what our mid-level technology can do versus a high-end screen. Keep in mind price tag, our technology right here for the mid. A gallon of this would cost you 230 bucks. When 100 inch, and mind you, a gallon will do a screen size of 190 inches. 100 inch of this screen, 1,400. 100 inch of this screen, $3,000. 100 inch of this screen, $5,000. So just imagine if you wanted any one of those at 190 inches, you do the math, see how much it would cost you. Pretty much you probably would have bought a car or a down payment for a car. Also too, like I said, if you could find any demonstrations of any high performance projection screens using a projector of this caliber, 600 by 800 res, 720p, an outdated projector, and one of their commercials showing off their screens, I'll give you free paint for a year. And you know why you'll never find it? Because I actually work for companies that they will go out and pick the most expensive, most advanced projector they can get their hands on to do that demonstration. So you have to ask yourself, who's doing all the work? Is it the screen or the projector? Because I guess, real quick, at the end of the day, if you go into a showroom, I've been into a Screen Innovation showroom before, down over when Circuit City used to be Circuit City, but it's no more. They had a showroom in there that you could sit down and you see the screen on display and everything set up in the background, a whole theater room, like a whole little virtual room. You could sit and watch the screen and display. And I'm looking at the screen like, wow, this is amazing. But, you know, a lot of people don't think about this. They're so freaking locked on the screen. They don't think like, what kind of projector are they using in the background? Because this is my field. It's what I do. So I'm always curious about everything in the environment, not just the screen, but I want to know what kind of projector they're using. Anybody who does projectors or even works with projectors or constantly around projectors, the first thing's going to pop in your mind is what kind of projector they're using. So I guarantee you that whatever projector they used to put into that showroom was probably far more advanced than anything I had in my house. If you had the money to afford the piece of equipment behind you, then you were good. You would match the exact same demonstration as you had in the showroom. If you didn't, you would be below those standards because you couldn't match that expensive projector. Just like they did the demonstration with the $50,000 Sony coffee table. In order to get that image, you would have to have that exact same projector to do that. $50,000. I think there's $24,000 now used on eBay. That's still a lot of money for a projector. But anybody can relate to that. Chunk all the other projectors in the way. Now, as I said, I do apologize about disabling the comments, but they had to be done. We just had individuals that just refused to grow up. And we tried it several times to come in. We try to disable the comments so people can comment. Well, actually, kind of keep the comments in so people can come and comment in, but you got to blame it to those individuals. Sorry, those individuals that are grown adults that just can't seem to carry themselves as adults when they come into the room, and that's why they had to be disabled. Now, keep in mind, those who made those interesting comments, you do know my account is set up for YouTube to review those comments. Just want to let you know that real quick. Because we had put into notice about our account and the fact that we were receiving interesting comments. So YouTube has been reviewing those comments as they've been coming. We review them, they review them. Just want to put that out there real quick. But that's why they had to be removed. You just have people that don't know how to carry themselves correctly. And that's a shame. These are adults. As it makes it sad. All right, let's move on from there. I have to get ready. It's 2021 is going to be pulling in pretty soon, and I have to get ready to start getting the screens to at least 10% on the 17s. So we'll start working on construction on those. On top of that, we have to start doing testing, because the reason why, if you go and you see the blues, the reason why you can't get your hands on the blues are not, okay, they're not sold out. We just locked all the shopping carts. And the shopping carts are locked because that 15 is going to be transferred to a 17. So that's the reason why you cannot pre-order blues right now, because they're actually being upgraded to 17 technology. So those who did place pre-orders, the gallons did sell out first. Those who did place order, you will get the free upgrade for free. I think we sent those emails out already when we made that announcement the first time. So, and that's one of the things I told you about, the narrow viewing cone effect. Let me show you this real quick. Just the narrow viewing cone effect. Now, like I said, not to put their product down in any way, but this is how it's reacting. I'm not using a ultra short throw or short throw projector, because usually screens do have this problem when it comes to ultra short throws, but they do have something called the narrow viewing cone effect. This is the narrow viewing cone effect. That means if you turn to the side, the screen automatically turns dark. Usually this happens when people use projection screens that have a very, very reflective surface, and this is one of the things they're plagued with. They have this problem. So if I were to stand here, and I were to look at this screen, you will see it start to darken. That's what you call a narrow viewing cone. That screen cannot be viewed on an angle. So right here, it looks fine, right? It's perfectly fine. And then as I start to put my camera here, and I move slightly to the side, it starts to darken. So what you call a narrow viewing cone effect. Now, sometimes also too, with some screens, I remember back then, some of these screens had these problems because we're all using that kind of reflective material, because they use it because they figure that it actually makes the screen brighter. It gives the screen a more higher gain capability. That's not true. It's a bad idea to use it to begin with, and whether they respect my opinion or not, I'm just showing you honestly, it's a bad idea to use them. Number one, like I said, with that reflective material, it turns your screen dark. Now, all of them are plagued with that. This one has it too, but not as much as that one. This is a Dark Star 9. This one doesn't have any reflective surface at all, period. Dark Star 9s don't have it that bad. This one has a very, very, very high reflective surface, and that's what happens. So with that being said, like I said, it looks right here. Come over here. Now standing right up on top of the screen, looks great. As I said before, when you go to turn to that side, it goes dark on you. And on top of that, they don't play well with ultra short throws. So ultra short throws is another problem they're going to have a problem with because of that reflective material. So that's another problem you're going to run into. So they probably do have a screen already set up for ultra short throw. Like I said, you'll just have to pay a little bit more for that. You know, but that's the problem with the reflective material. There's another company that's known for doing it. I know they don't want us to say their name, and I'm not going to say it, but we all know who it is. They have that problem too. And that's one of the things we figured out when we first started testing against their stuff, that when I was moving the camera back and forth, it went dark on me. And for a minute, I thought it was my camera doing it. And it wasn't the camera, it was the actual screen. I'm like, oh, shoot. And I realized that that reflective material triggers off the narrow viewing cone effect. On top of that, they're saying that you have to align your projector with the screen. Some of them, if you bring the projection screen too high up, it gets darker. Too low, it gets darker. Maybe just side to side. It has to be in line with the projector perfectly in order for you to see the image. That also becomes a problem. So if you ever had the joys, and I've already done all this stuff already, if you had the joys of going in and aligning a projector, if you ever aligned a projector before, it's something you won't forget. Now, some of you probably have never done that. You probably never aligned a projector. You probably never experienced half the stuff I've seen with screens. I've been testing screens for 10 years. Been in my business for a very long time. And like I said, it's something you won't forget. Like painting a goose screen, you will never forget. If you ever paint a goose screen for the first time, you will never forget that experience. Pause it right here. Come over here. Now remember what I told you. You're saying, well, this is why it's so bright, because the material surface is a very high reflective surface. That's why. That's why it looks so bright. The problem is it's pulling in too much white light. And the reason why, and I'll tell you why, when it pulls in that much white light, you're going to have a problem. Like I said, contrast is number one, and your colors are going to be another problem. And here we are at the Gray Cinema. This is the Gray Cinema, 5D right there. Next to our technology, right there. And consider the fact when I tell people, well, let me go over here. I'm going to be right in front. I'm going to be right in front like this. You have to be up in front like this because if you lean to the side, as I told you, if I did this demonstration like this would be cheating. You know why it would be cheating? Because that screen I know is automatically going to turn dark. Regardless, it's going to turn dark because it has a narrow viewing cone. So if you're going to do the demonstration properly and fair, you have to have your camera here in the front. So that way you can see the screen dead on. And that way you can see the performance of the screen. When people do this like this, that's a bad idea because what happens, it automatically turns the surface dark. You have to make sure your camera is here so you're getting a proper picture and everything is done fair. I told you, when I do demonstrations against these companies, everything's done by the book. I know which one of these screens can't be used with ultra short throws. I know which ones have to be used with certain calibers of projectors. All this has to be done. You got to read through all that. They have it there for a reason. So I have to follow their guidelines when I'm doing their demonstrations because that's their particular instructions on what they have. If I was going to be dirty about it, I bring down an ultra short throw knowing darn well their screens are going to turn dark. Knowing that my screen's going to produce a brighter image because it's ultra short throw compatible. Can't do that. Like, for instance, I know I talk a lot, but when I do outdoor demonstrations, I don't bring any of their screens outside. They're not supposed to be out there. They're not developed for that. They're not designed for outdoor screens. I have to go to their website, find out what screens they have that are used for outside, and use only their screens outside for that, like the Yardmaster, which I'm planning to order one. Actually, Elite Screens, and very good job. I got to give you this one. That's going to cost me a little bit of money, but you're the only one that has it, so I got to buy it. They have an outdoor motorized projection screen. I was checking that out. Got to buy one now. I got to have a motorized projection screen. That'd be so much easier because I can just roll the screen up and be done with it. So now I got to get one of those. All right, so let's finish on from here. I might do me a dark gray outside, black silver. Well, I don't have a 235.1 outside, and I would love to have a 235.1 screen outside just to watch. Because I haven't seen anybody with a 235.1 screen outside. Like, literally, I've never seen one outside. Which I need to go look that up before I actually make that statement. Because there's probably someone already did it already. I'm pretty sure someone has a 235.1.
Human trait is to want to know why.
You see when the contrast levels popped on? You saw that, didn't you? Yeah, I told you. Black silvers can read contrast. We'll show that in a few minutes. And by the way, my projector behind me has a 20,000 to 1 contrast. This is the odd thing about the Viewsonic behind me. It is weird. It's the weirdest projector I've ever seen in specifications, and I'll tell you why. It's a 720p. It's 600 by 800 res, SVGA. But the projector is 3600 lumens. It has a 20,000 to 1 contrast and an anamorphic lens. You figure that one out. And when it was on the market, when it sold, it was for $459. Figure that one out. And I got Chrissy's over here that when they were popular, they were $12,000. And those projectors don't even have an anamorphic lens. Their contrast on that projector is a 4,000 to 1. Yeah. Like I said, Viewsonic, when it comes to their specifications, they're mad scientists, man. They put some crazy stuff on their projectors that they will never tell you about. You can go to AVS forums, you can go to Projector Central, you can go scour the internet. There is no information on the Viewsonic projector displaying that it does 235.1. You can call the company, did it already. They will deny it's ever on the projector. But the funny thing about it, any new projector they design, 235.1 is always in the ratio settings. A lot of people don't know that. Yep. Now the one I got behind me is the cheapest model they make, and it has 235.1, so that's how I'm pulling this off. So instead of you going out and spending money for the camera lens, which I did already, did the camera lens. The problem with the camera lens is it's designed for a camera, not a projector. So if you put it in 16:9 or 16:10, put the camera lens on, what it does, it causes the edges to become fuzzy on the edge, and it becomes the pixels to become distorted. You really don't want to mess around with that. It's a pain in the neck, causes headaches and everything else. But if you want to go down that road and knock yourself out, it's like 40 bucks or 50 bucks for one of those lenses. Or if you want to get the adapter, because they do make an adapter that you could fit over your projector, if it fits your projector, about $1,400 bucks. Get one over at eBay for that price, if it fits over your projector. All right, and you're going to have it mounted in a way where you're going to have to be able to fit this huge track system that's going to sit next to your projector, that's going to slide a lens back and forth. So you have that option, or just go out and buy a Viewsonic projector and just have it there. No configurations, none of that nonsense. It's just there. All right, so we're checking out the black silvers, where they produce their high bright levels next to high performance screens. So let's switch it over to where our technology shows its special abilities as in producing contrast levels. Starfield demonstration, YouTube.
Getting that from YouTube.
I'm always expect to get a commercial now.
Let creativity flow.
There you go. Black silvers can pull contrast levels because the screen has a code in it that allows it to do so. That's why my screen can sit here against 3 certified projection screens, 2 of them that are actually darker than my screen. And if you go rewind the video back, you would see me pulling the screen off my wall and laying against the black, showing exactly how light gray the screen is. But it's because it has a special code in it, like I said, that allows the projector to be able to read and allows the screen to be able to read instead of reflecting off the surface that's gray and producing a light gray surface or image or faded colors. There's a code inside of there that allows it to be able to react, even to contrast. Just like we can take the 17s, that black 17 that's much darker than a 12, and produce an insane white level. Yep. Boom, boom. And we can do this at $230 a gallon. Consider the fact that you can paint up to a 190-inch screen when one of those screens would actually cost you, like I said, just for a 100-inch, $1,400 or $5,000. So let me ask you a question. Which one sounds better to you? $5,000 for a projection screen or $230? A 100-inch screen or a 190-inch screen? Now remember, before we even got into the field of developing great technology, We were strictly black screens. I told you that. We don't deal with that. I have no purpose, and I said this out of my own mouth. I have no reason to develop a gray screen. There's no purpose. They can't pull contrast. The colors are washed out. It's just not worth my time. I said that in a demonstration many times. One of the things I ask for the most, anybody who's developing gray screens, anybody, even big companies, any one of them, please show me a demonstration of all these gray screens lined up together. I want to see a star field demonstration. I want to see how your screen differs from any other screen out there on the market. Whether you be a company, whether you be a hobbyist, wherever you may be, I want to see that demonstration. I asked that multiple times. It was never done. So I did it myself. When you're watching a demonstration on the gray screen, you're supposed to see multiple gray screens all lined up. You're supposed to be to see, and not only for you, I'm supposed to see it too. I'm the one designing this stuff. So I have to make sure when I'm building or creating whatever I'm making, I have to make sure that how does my screen stack up against a certified, how does it stack up against this, how does it stack up against that? I have to see that. What is the difference between my gray screen and another gray screen if I pull a star field demonstration? Which one pulls out the deepest reds, the darkest blues, the darkest greens? I had to see all that. So that's why I can come on here live with a low grade projector, and keep in mind, projector behind me has 20,000 to 1 contrast. And these screens right here can't pull it up. With a 20,000 to 1. Now they can probably go in and say, well, your projector is a low grade projector, and that's the reason why our screens are not pulling off the high performance. Okay, you can probably argue that case right there, but it has a 20,000 to 1 contrast on that projector. But yet our low grade screen, not top, not the jet blacks, not the blues, low grade, mid-level class screen can pull a contrast level better than a screen that'll cost you from 14 to 5 grand. Because they're reflecting off a surface. That's why. When our technology goes beyond the surface, it actually is being coded by code that's embedded in the screen. And for those of you who don't believe this yet, I'm going to show you a demonstration that we did on a purple screen. Yeah, I said purple. Purple projection screen that had the same code that produced a snowfield demonstration. I'll put that link at the bottom. I got a few links I'm going to put at the bottom. We'll put our challenges at the bottom because 2 challenges we had was the ultimate challenge, which as you can look at the bottom, no one has displayed anything. That challenge went out to everybody. I mean everybody. We did the Sun Killer, which that's that technology. Mind you, it's marked under 12 because at that time we thought 12 would be the highest. That's going to be integrated to a 21. That would never be a screen paint. Not in a million years, it would never be a screen paint. It's integrated for our own form of customized projecting screens that we're designing for ourselves. That's what that formula is being designed for. That's why there's a trademark secret probably going to be locked into that one. But that's another challenge we got out there, you know, for individuals. And we get them out there from companies too. I get challenges from companies. I get challenges from smaller companies and bigger companies that will come in there and say, hey, look, check this out. This is my technology. This so-and-so and so-and-so. And I go, oh, it looks fantastic. You know, I don't put them down. It's fantastic. Looks nice and all. Here's my technology showing a direct hit from the sun. That's the end of the conversation. There's nothing more you can say about that. And you hear people are inside talking about the ambient light. I mean, I see the demonstrations because I've watched enough of them that I can know what to look for when I look into an environment. I can pick your video apart and I can tell exactly in your environment where your dark shadows are coming up at, where your lights are at, how much light's actually visually in the screen, how far your projector is sitting back, what you're using, all that stuff. I can pick all that apart just by looking at your video. So when I walk at the video, I see that they have, one of my favorite ones is where the environment is dark in here, but there's light in this room and there's light in that room, and they consider that to be ambient light projection. Or they'll have one little light in the corner here or one little light back here. There'll be shades on them, or the condensed lighting. That's my favorite one. They'll take the condensed lighting, and you know, anybody who has condensed lighting or ceiling lighting knows that those lights have a form of a pivot that you can push the lights back and forth to direct where you want the lights to go at. And what they'll do is they'll pivot the lights outward to have them come away from the screen. I can tell that by looking at your floor. Also can tell that by looking at your screen. So when I had condensed lighting in the other house, If you watch those demonstrations, I pivot my lights inward because you can see the fireplace being hit, and you can see the screen when I would turn the projector off to show you how much physical light was hitting the screen. Because if physical light is hitting the screen, you will get this kind of effect that will come across your screen like this. That shows the light hitting your screen from the top and branching out. Yeah, notice all that. That's why, if you notice, my screen is pushed as high as I can possibly get it where the projector can hit it, because I want it as close to the ceiling light as possible. If you look at my environment, you can see from corner to corner to corner, all well lit. You should be able to see the baseboards. You should be able to see everything in the environment with no problem whatsoever. If you can't make that environment out, then there is a problem there. There you go. So, I noticed all that. When I watched, let's say Screen Innovation, I watched a demonstration on that $50,000 coffee table projection screen. I noticed a lot of things in that video. I noticed that the sun was setting on the opposite side of the street, which means it might have been around 12 noon. If the sun was setting on the side that they were at, there'd have been so much light pushing through that environment, it wouldn't have been funny because they had a lot of light windows in that house. I know some people have skylights in. If your skylight is right there, and the light is coming straight down, there's no way in the world that's going to affect your screen unless it's going to basically curve over and just blah. Because one of the things I ask is when you do a demonstration, you see me stand in front of my projection screen, like so, you should see that screen illuminated by light. And in those demonstrations, they always have the projector on, which is not good because I need to see exactly, if you turn the projector on, how much light is making physical contact with the screen. Also, too, I explain to people, the back of the wall tells the whole story of the environment. Tells the whole story of the environment. If you can't make out anything in the environment behind you, then that means there's not enough light in the environment. So, like I said, there's a lot of things I noticed. When I watched the demonstration with Elite Screens, when they had the showroom, when they had some kind of expo they were at, I noticed that the fellow walking down the hallway with the camera in his hand the camera was so bright and so vivid when it was walking down the hallway, but the minute he walked into the room, it became dark, and the camera had a hard time trying to be able to focus because the environment was too dark. That's one of the things I noticed when he walked into that room. Another thing I noticed that every last screen was blocking every last window. So the way they had it set up, they had a screen by hitting every window. And then the lamps they had, they weren't sitting this way. They were sitting behind the back of the screens just enough where they can actually push out light this way, but enough where light would be hitting the screen that way. And then all the projectors they were using in the environment were short throws and ultra short throws that were literally sitting right up on top of the screen. Yep. Pick that apart in minutes. So that's why we do our ambient light projection test outside. Each one of these screens had to go through the 13 feet, 1,000 lumen demonstration outside. Because you can get a screen to fire off outside, and here is nothing. And we're 13 feet back. All right, so let's come out of the Starfield demonstration. I'm pretty tired of seeing this, aren't you? Let's go over to the color red.
Getting that from YouTube.
So what are you actually seeing when the color red pops up on these screens versus our technology? There you go. I told you if a screen is producing too high of a white level, that is not a good sign. That's actually a really bad sign. When I show off white levels first, people look at it and go, oh, whoa, look at the white levels on that screen. I mean, the colors are going to be crazy. No, that's not true. That means the colors are going to wash out. There's no contrast in the screen at all, period. Color blue.
Getting that from YouTube.
So you're looking at a screen paint, you can paint a 190 inch screen at $229. When 100-inch of one of these screens would cost you around, not the left, but it's a lot of money. You're talking about $1,300 to $1,400 is still a lot of money. $3,000 is a lot of money. $5,000. You could have put a down payment on the vehicle for that one right there. That's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. And then keep in mind, 2 of the screens are not ultra short throw compatible. So if you got an ultra short throw, that's not going to happen. You're just going to have to go out and figure out if they make a version of that screen that is an ultra short throw. and it's not going to cost you the same. No company is going to say, hey, look, this one's 3,000, but the ultra short throw version is 3,000. That's not going to happen. We all know that. It's going to cost you even more for that. Color, dark green.
Getting that from YouTube.
Green, screensaver.
Getting that from YouTube.
See if we get ourselves some green here. There we go. Green background. Nice green color. And again, I'll show you again the angle. Watch this. See, our screen still maintains that dark green even after we're kissing the screen. There we go. A lot of people don't realize this. I had a friend of mine, he's one of my longest customers. He was going to go out and drop, I told you I got customers that can drop 15 grand easy on a screen. He was going to drop $15,000 on a screen. I'm going to tell you the company it was, but he was going to literally drop $15,000 on a projection screen until I showed, he saw that demonstration. Before it got pulled, because it got pulled, a particular company sent out some paperwork and put it in a nicer way, wanted everything removed. So anyway, so we did what had to be done, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, he saw that demonstration, and that's what basically caused him not to pull the trigger. But before he basically contacted us, he contacted the other company he was going to buy the screen from, and he asked him that question. He said, hey, look, so if I'm standing here, am I going to have an issue? And he said, well, that screen has a bit of a narrow viewing cone, and you have to be in front of the screen. He said, well, I'm spending that kind of money. I should be able to stand anywhere I want. That's why you see me do demonstrations, me walking around the house, taking the camera, moving around. That's what that's for. That's a lot of money to pay for a screen that you actually can't be on an angle. Mind you, if you're having a football game at the house, everybody's not going to be sitting in the center. You know what I mean? You're going to have people sitting all around the house, especially if you're going to have that in your living room. Now, if you got that in a dedicated theater room, then everybody's just going to be sitting straight on. But if you're going to have this in your lounge or your living room, you know, you got people sit there on the side and they watch the game. I do it all the time. I come to people's houses. If there has a game on, there's no place to sit. I just stand on the side and just watch the game from there until somebody brings me up a seat. But that's where I'm going to be sitting at. And if I'm going to be sitting here and the game's on, and this is my view from everybody else's, that's going to suck. All right, so let's go get something else out of here. Color orange.
Getting that from YouTube.
There you go. Oops, sorry about that. That's asking me to sign in. I don't want to sign in. There you go. It's color orange. Now see how here it looks orange, and if I move over here, it looks like it's white. I told you, narrow viewing cone is crazy. So right here, it looks better orange here. But if I move over here, there you go. See? There you go. Got it. And you may have to align the projector with the screen. So that's your own personal nightmare right there. I've done that one already. I don't plan to ever do that one ever again. That's why I prefer just setting up the projector and being done with it. There we go. Right behind the right spot. All right, let's go with color purple. Oh, that's gonna bring the movie up. I bet you $100. Purple screensaver.
Getting that from YouTube.
I knew that was gonna bring that up. All right, so let's go with a purple screensaver, see what happens. All right, let's go with a hot pink screensaver.
Getting that from YouTube.
And these are more lighter colors. It should have no problem picking these up. Okay, white screensaver.
Getting that from YouTube.
Now look at the white levels. Told you. The white levels are too high. You're going to have a problem. And watch this. Share how fast that effect kicks in. I'm just going to just turn just a little bit. Just one little step in. I'm not even near the screen yet. This is how fast the narrow viewing cone takes effect. So I'm right here, but if I move over, now it's brighter. But if I move over here, it gets a little darker. I take one little step forward. Let's go all the way over. Let's just stop right here. So that's how much your brightness you lost. There we go. Moving in, then closer, even closer, and there you go. There's a lot of things people don't realize, man, when they buy projection screens. I mean, I don't know if they show you this in the demonstration. They should show you all in the demonstration. One of the things I show you in my demonstration when it comes to my black screens, I will show you my black screens against other lighter screens into my technology. And I'll show you snowstorms. I'll show you skin tones, all that, because you need to be to see that. And in my description of my black technology, I say in my description that our technology is slightly lower than a white screen or a gray screen, but nothing that's going to disrupt your picture quality. I always say it in all my demonstrations. So I like to do, when I did the black screens, I like to show the white levels first. I like how people let it go, oh, okay, these screens are going to do way better. Then I'll show those deep, rich colors. You'll watch the screen start to fade and wash out. I'll show contrast. Screens can't pull that up. But then I'll show standalone. Our technology by itself, standalone, looks incredible. Like I said, the white levels look amazing. But as I said before, you know, they're always going to be to produce a higher white level than our black screen because they're a much lighter screen, where our screen's going to produce a heavier contrast because their screens can't do that. So, you know, one of the things you fall into that is the fact that you get a lighter screen or a gray screen, your white levels, I mean, white levels are going to be good, but contrast, all that stuff's going to be gone. And majority of your watching, your entertainment is going to be colors and contrast. Just to let you know. So we all know that. And that's good. That's one of the things that's going to plague your screen the most. So there we go. All right. Let's go pull up again. We can't put in straight black because it's just, well, we could just had a fun. Let's do gray. Let's do gray. The color gray. Because they're all gray screens. So let's pull up a dark gray. See what happens first. As you can see, our screen's going to pull up. And remind you, if you go back and rewind, I'm sorry, I'll do this at the end. I'll take my screen off and lay it against my screen. You can see exactly how light gray my screen is. All right, so light gray.
Sorry, I didn't find a device named Light.
Okay, here we go with this one. Light gray screensaver.
Getting that from YouTube.
So like I told you, when you're watching demonstrations on people displaying gray screens, this is what you're supposed to see. This is the normal. You should be seeing multiple gray screens lined up against each other. You should be seeing color patterns, which I'm showing you right now. You should be seeing contrast levels, white levels, everything. If you're just seeing strictly just color flashing across the screen, displays and all that stuff, no. You have to be to see the difference. That's why I break it down and I'll show you the flat colors first. So that way you can see, okay, this is how the projector's seeing red. This is how it's seeing blue. This is how it's seeing green. This is what your projector is actually seeing. Now the display of colors all mixed together so you can't figure out which one's which. You're camouflaging when you do that. All right, so the color black. Screensaver.
Getting that from YouTube.
So now we're just going to pick up a straight black. So that's black displaying right now. Now I have to add something in that so you can actually see on a more depth, because I just show you, okay, it's displaying black. You're saying, okay, this looks normal. Your screen looks normal to me, but as you can see, if it was black, it would be coming up as dark as that. But you really won't be able to see that effect until I add something in there. So let's put in, let's put this right here. There you go. Now you can see the full effect of it all. So what we're doing is we're showing, and I like this, I'm going to save this one. So this is showing a black background and it's showing white bubbles popping up. So the background for this is supposed to be black. And get you up nice and close. I like that. OLED, black demonstrations.
Getting that from YouTube.
Yeah, let's go pick up the OLED. And let's see what happens. There you go. That's the advancement of code. As I'm saying, as I explained to you guys. Now we have the ability to be able to go in and basically change what the projector sees. This has nothing to do with the surface anymore. Because if you're collecting off a surface and that's just it, this is the thing about these big screens now. Anybody else, the bottom line is, it's all about the surface for them. It's reflecting off the surface. It goes deeper than the surface. So you have to be able to develop a technology that has a code. And I say a code, I can't tell you what the code is, but let's just say it's a code. So that code, basically, the projector has to be able to push past the surface and integrate with the code and have to bring the image back out at you. That's what it's doing. That's why you're looking at a screen that's gray, that's outperforming other screens on contrast, blending into their screens when it comes up to color. Now, if I did this on a black screen, this would be easy because the screen's black. Regardless, it's going to bring up a contrast level. This is a great screen. Not even a platinum eclipse. Platinum eclipse are dark gray. Remember when I showed you the straight color patterns to show you how the colors fade? Now you can see it. How the reds fade, how the blues fade. Now you imagine that technology, this screen only has a smidgen of code embedded in it. 17s have 100%. So imagine a screen with 100% code, as I said before, and then that technology we're building, that's not a screen paint, that's an actual gain we're building. We're building a formula that is a gain that takes a direct hit from sunlight. What better way to test a gain than against the sun? If you have a formula that can take on a direct hit from the sun, and that's the most powerful light that you can get hit by, and maintain an image, do you have any idea what that will be once we incorporate that into 100% code? Think about that. That's the most powerful gain on the face of the planet. No one has it. A direct hit from the sun. That means why these people are doing demonstrations when the 21s pop out. You people are doing demonstrations inside worrying about ambient light, and we're going head to head with the sun. That means if when we go to the showroom, their showrooms are going to be inside. Our demonstration is going to be outside at 12 o'clock noon, sitting out there smiling at the sun. And what can they say against that? That's going to put every projection screen company pretty much to shame. That's the whole plan, people. I told you, anytime I design something, there's always a big, big, big picture behind it. Yeah. These companies like this right here, the hobbyists and stuff, we don't care about. This is the goal right here. This is the goal. This is what we're looking to go after. We want to be able to not only be on their level, but to show them that you could do it, number one, for much cheaper. And then we can charge a price for the technology that will be way below what they charge for. Which we're doing now. So if this is our beginning stage of our technology, imagine what the ending stage is going to look like. So yeah, if I was one of their companies, yeah, I'd be nervous right now. I'd be extremely nervous. And chances are, before that 21 comes out, and the reason I'm laughing because it's going to be brutal. I mean, it's going to be really, really brutal. Well, I mean, before we come out, I guarantee you, I'm going to have a couple offers on my table to buy me out. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I mean, how can you argue that? honestly, to be truthful, how could you argue that? How can you sit there and say, well, you know, we got these ambient light screens and we're doing this stuff, you know, we're showing off, you know, images and fully lit environments, and meanwhile we're outside playing with the sun. The same element that comes through your window that you got to cover up with curtains, we're out there playing around with it. I sent that demonstration to a couple of projection screen companies, say, hey, look, this is what we're working on. Just to give them a heads up to show them this is what's coming. At 1%, that technology sat there and took that direct hit. Yeah, they know what it is. They know what's coming. I only have one particular one in mind. Let's go to, this is really, we'll do that one. No, we definitely got to do this one. Definitely got to do this one right here. Now, the reason why, like I said, when people come at me and they say, well, you know, all his screens are dark, so and so and so and so and so. First of all, we've already proved our technology with 12s, done that to death. I ain't saying any more about that because we know what the 12s can do. End of story. If a 12 is not to your liking, remember, we make other kinds of screen paints. You know what I mean? We have the black silvers, what you're looking at right now is a gray screen. We have if you want something with more heavier contrast than the black silver, then we have a platinum eclipse. We got that over there. If you are wanting something with more of a heavier color pop, fantastic white levels, contrast levels are good, then you go with the new 12. That's the gold. The golds are now 12s. And you see what they do. They're actually amazing. As a matter of fact, I got one upstairs in the Japanese tea room, and I freaking love that screen. I was gaming on it last night. So we make screen paints for everybody. Ugh. Put this in. And keep in mind, a quart without the sale, because the sale's over, but a quart without the sale is $98. $98 for a quart. That paints a screen size from 100-inch. And this is the reason why when you set up your stand, you don't make sure your power button is right underneath your stand, because you will turn off your video. All right, so like I said, let's go back here. If I can remember which remote control is which. Nope, wrong one. Got it mixed up again. There we go. Go back in there real quick. Sorry about that. I got to remember, my stand has two prongs that come up that connect under the phone, and I have a habit of putting the power button on that side and turning off my phone. I do it all the time. But like I said, $98 is what a quart of our this is our mid-class, which means, like I said, when you buy projection screens, you start off with the white, which is the cheaper ones. You go to the gray, a little bit more expensive, then you go with they move up from there. The darker the screen, the more expensive. This is our mid-class screen, which means our mid-class screen can go toe-to-toe with a $1,400 to $5,000 projection screen with no problem. And that would cost you, if you wanted a screen from 100-inch to 120-inch, which that is, you want a size of 120-inch, that's 120-inch with 26-inch, 120-inch over there, that would cost you $98. So at the end of the day, $98 or $5,000. And you don't have to have an expensive projector because, you know, there's my projector right there, you can see. And like I said, I could have used any of the big powerhouses I have sitting on the floor right now. So right on my floor, this is why I have these projectors out here on display. These are some of my big boy projectors that I own. I could easily, these are all 1080p's. I can easily use any one of these. Any one of these projectors would outperform that, like hands down, with no problem whatsoever. But I chose to use my my low grade projector here, and I chose there 13 feet back, fully lit environment. That's how far my projector is sitting back. So I told you, when you look at the environment, it's supposed to be fully lit. You're supposed to be to see everything in the environment. Bring you up close. So you can see how far my projector goes back, 13 feet. Sorry about that, trying to get the stand to stand right. Stand on something awkward. There we go. Got a charger hanging up my phone right now, that's why. Make sure the stand doesn't fall over. I love those contrast levels. I love that. Now, when I showed you the reds, colors washing out. Like I said, they can pull bright colors, they can. Because the colors next to this technology are going to come out a little bland. Oh, 17. And anytime they show a black background, anything involves in any contrast, you're going to be to see the screen pull through. You're going to be to see how their screens are going to actually flaw and how our screens are actually going to advance. I think this will be my last demonstration for the day. I think tomorrow I'm just going to do the 235.1 tomorrow. And then I got to get ready to start getting ready for tracking numbers. So, yeah, let me check in with the driver tomorrow to see when she's going, because we're going to do it after the holidays. But I'm going to check with the driver tomorrow and to see exactly what we need to do from there to start issuing out tracking numbers. Just to let you know, because for those you know, we do it every Friday. So let's see what has to be done so we can get everybody taken care of. But I think we got New Year's Eve. I gotta remember, because I'm bad with days, man. I really am. Like, I literally came on here on Christmas Eve, and I literally, of all people, I should have known. I'm a Christian. I should have known that it was. I work so much, man. I don't keep any calendars. I really barely look at clocks half the time, and I got a clock on my phone, which is no excuse. But it just shows you how embedded I am into my work. Didn't realize when I looked at it, I was like, oh shoot, it's the 24th. But we'll figure out what day, because I know we got New Year's Eve coming up and New Year's Day. It's not going to be running on that day, you know. So, like I said, we'll get everybody taken care of and we'll be good to go, as we always do. That's why I record my ship out dates. So why do you record your ship out dates? Because that's an insurance to my customer, letting them know that your order is being taken care of. And if they haven't seen the video, I can send the video to them. So look, these are orders that went out this Friday. That's what I love about the black servers, man. There's nowhere in the world you're going to miss anything from your screen. Let's see what else we got here we can play around with. Done that one already. Let's check this one out. Now, if you ever saw this demonstration, you know the background is black. And this background, you know, these are the older OLED demonstrations. You learn a valuable lesson for myself. Never say something's not impossible. Because like I said, for the longest time I said nah. So people ask me like, will you ever develop a gray screen? I was like, nope. Won't go near it. They can't pull contrast levels, the colors fade and wash out on them. It's just not worth my time. I remember said that many times, and then just kept asking over and over again, asking people, like, you develop these screens, let's see some serious. I mean, I don't know. Just my point of view is when I watch demonstrations, it just should be more in there. Should be a lot more in there. A lot more in that demonstration. Not just showing these colors and beautiful abstract art going against the screen. There should be more depth to it. That's why I like doing the color patterns and showing you different high-performance certified screens. I guess the reason why people don't want to do the certified screens is because they run the risk of maybe the certified screen might outperform this screen. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing, because then that shows you where you need to work on your technology a little harder. That's all. Nothing wrong with that. I went through that several times with a Seymour 81.3 when I was developing silver technology. Man, that screen was beating the crap out of our stuff. Couldn't figure out, but it made me work harder to try to, be able to design a better screen. Now we got that Ultra Bright 17. Ooh, that screen 11 certifies. They got 11 certifies under their belt at 2%. I love that when I have, like I said, I get emails from companies all the time, and they'll show off their screen like, yeah, we got this and so on the other, and I'll pull out that 17, like, look, it's a 17, 11 certifies, 2%. And you're like, oh, I get 2% done. And the first thing they'll say is, well, when you get this screen up and going, let us know, and maybe we can shoot some business your way. Maybe we can work out a contract or something. Yeah, you can win a contract for that technology when it comes out. Or just showing a black screen that can pull contrast. Like I said, never say never, because you don't know. You don't know what God's going to bless you with that day. Maybe that day will give us the technology to be able to develop a white screen with a contrast level. Wouldn't that be amazing? Seeing an all white screen pull a black contrast level? Oh, that would be really trippy to watch. What the freak? Really? I know we get people out there. I get a lot of people out there. And people out there don't like what I do, but I say get used to it. I go with God, and my ideas come from God, so you can't stop that train. Nothing you can do to stop it. All my ideas come from God. Look at it. I'm talking to a man that never had a degree for chemistry. Not one degree for chemistry. Knows nothing about chemistry. And yet I get these ideas. God blesses me with these ideas to be able to design technology like this. And I think sometimes he just shows me stuff just to show other people exactly how great he is. Got 3 certified, not certified, 3 17s downstairs in the basement that have the ability to wipe out or even match. You're talking about 11 certified screens at 2%, and each one took an hour to make. That shows you how amazing God is. An hour. When it took these companies 11 years and 10 years of testing, and God will come and go, boom, look at this. This is your idea. This is what you're going to design. This screen's going to wipe out 11 certifies. Be to produce white levels higher than any other screen. And man, it's amazing when God talks to you. If you listen, be surprised if you listen. I mess up. Keep in mind, sometimes I get so caught up in the things he blessed me to do, and sometimes I forget he actually is there. So, I got to remember to slow down sometimes and just remember who's giving me this. Because people understand, I had 5 businesses. 5 of them failed. Yeah, they failed. Yep. Until I learned to take a step back and stop saying, I'm doing this, and let God handle it. And then everything started to take off. It wasn't easy. I had rough roads. I had low roads. I had days I lost money, days I made money. It wasn't all easy. It was hard. Hardest thing you will ever do in your entire life. When you want to start your own company, it's the hardest thing you will ever do in your entire life. But it'll be worth it. But the key thing is, don't get greedy. Don't do that. Because greed will definitely bring you down faster than anything else. Greed is the most evil thing you can possibly accumulate. It's the root of some evil. People say money is the root of all evil. No, it isn't. It's how you handle money that makes it evil. It's how you handle it is what makes it evil.
Just press firmly and it continuously eliminates odors in the air and on soft surfaces for 45 days.
Shoot, you can get like what, $12 million off the lottery. And you can spend the rest of your life basically just living a simple life and basically just going out and just doing for others and helping people out. Don't make money evil. But then you can turn it around the other way and do something stupid with it and lose all of it. You know what I mean? It's how you handle money is what makes it evil, what makes it good. So what we're going to do is within the contracts of 17s, when we start marketing them out for companies, within that contract, it is going to be requested of them to keep that screen at a certain price. If they actually raise the screen upon a certain price, we can penalize them for it. I want to make sure that whatever we put on the market basically is affordable for everything. I don't never ever want to see my screen with a $4,000 or $5,000 price tag on, unless it's a giant screen. You're talking about 100 or 200 inch screen, then you're talking about some serious money. But for the price of what they're charging screens now, a 100 inch screen for $5 grand, are you freaking kidding me? I don't want to be in that kind of person, you know. Anybody should be able to afford it, so we just got to figure out ways on how to make the product. We have the technology. So the thing what costs is the most about these screens is the surface. The surface that they use is very, very expensive. So you have to keep in mind, they do have to cover certain costs and whatever, shipping and all that stuff, all that plays a part in it. So you have to think about the business side of it all. But since we develop a coating, we can pretty much make our screens, like I said, anything we want. Heck, we could just make all wallpaper screens, which would be much easier than a fixed frame screen, because all you'd have to do is just pull it out of the tube and just Velcro it to your wall and you're done. I mean, that's what I like about the wallpaper screens. But the problem with the wallpapers is the fact that they only made them a certain size. So only made them like 4x8. So keep in mind, I wanted a 120 inch wallpaper. Of all people, I wanted one. But that would be cool about that, because then, you know, then we could have it so, you know, anybody could have that surface. It'd be so much cheaper to make. And then on top of that, because it's a super thin plastic, we can make it out of anything we want. Heck, we can make it out of recycled water bottles. Machine just melt down all the bottles and just make the plastic nice and thin and just coat that with the machine. That's it. Number one, we never have to worry about running out of plexiglass, because we can have an unlimited supply of recycling water bottles, melting them down into screens. That would be freaking cool, wouldn't it? So these are the kind of things that goes through my mind as I'm working on this technology for the stuff we're working on, you know? Figuring out ways how to have an endless resource of materials to be able to make it. And on top of that, with the whole recycling thing, that's fantastic for the environment. You know, all the formulas we use are all biodegradable and they're safe for the environment, eco-friendly. So I think that'd be a nice way to go. And on top of that, shipping it would be cheap. Shipping it would be cheap. I got a customer contacting right now. Shipping it would be cheap, and setting it up would be cheap, because a lot of people, even though you got these fixed frame screens, first time I got one, I found it a bit overwhelming. You know, all these parts and stuff, and, you know, trying to figure out how to put this in together. I must have watched 4 or 5 YouTube videos on how to figure out how to put the screen together. But the wallpapers are fantastic, because the customer doesn't have to be this rocket scientist or have to be mechanical or engineer inclined or whatever. Just take it out of the box and then stick it to the wall and you're done. That's it. And then with that, with it being that clear material, we can make it front and rear, which would be fantastic. So there's different ways, you know, stuff we got going through our heads on how to do this and the fastest way, because this would tremendously cut down on shipping costs. Extremely cut down on shipping costs. The only thing that would pretty much would cost us freight would be if we were shipping a screen like, I say of 100, 120 or 150, because you can actually bend the screen, you know what I mean? Because it's fiberglass or some kind of plastic. So, you know, this is stuff that you have to think about this stuff. Anytime you're talking about designing a physical screen, shipping will kill you. I lie to you not. It will kill you, literally. It will kill a project dead in the water. If it costs too much money to ship it, it ain't going out. Because if it costs too much money, that means you got to raise the price of the screen. And maybe the customers might not be happy with the price of the screen. Yeah, it could cost you some money. Shipping will make and break you. So wallpaper screens are cheap to ship out. And they're lightweight, you know. The only thing I'd probably get hit with a freight charge is by the height. Because once you reach a certain amount of feet, the post office won't take it anymore. It has to go by FedEx and UPS, and they charge by zone. And that's why we're applying for the corporate license, because with the corporate license, so we can get better breaks to be able to ship out mass amounts of screens, and we get better accounts set up through them because we have a corporate license and all that stuff. So that's why I said this is all the stuff that's going on right now that you don't see or you don't know about that's going on. Getting ready for 2021 and bringing out more affordable screens that, you know, anybody can afford. So like I said, this is why I did this demonstration. If I can take my mid-level screen, which we have here, that cost our customers $98 a quart, compared to screens that are going to cost you $4,000, $5,000, $3,000, $1,400. Which means, yes, it can be done. We can develop technology for much affordable, much more advanced, and it won't cost our customers nothing. And they don't have to spend the money for a 4K or 1080p projector, because this projector is really down the line, yeah. You don't have to spend all that money for an expensive projector to get a beautiful image. And speaking of the projector we're using, look at the image. All right, so let's take these off, and let's just have some fun with the screen. Because we already know. Take these off. These off right here. And we'll just enjoy the picture. Here. There we go. Now, ask me that 100 times over and over and over again, like, wait a minute, you want this account? No. Let me see. That'd be interesting. I thought about something. If we do the recycling water bottles, we could pay people for recycled water bottles. We can start our own program. I mean, that'd be fantastic, because then people get a chance to make some money. We get water bottles in, melt them out, convert them into high performance projection screens, charge a cheaper price, put them on the market, make everybody happy. Win, win, win. And then the money, like I said, we're planning to do charity. So the money we'll make from that too, from the proceeds, will go to charity. It's fantastic. I think it's a wonderful idea. I mean, just so many things we can do with it because now we develop our own coating, which means anything we coat with this stuff becomes a screen. There's so many ways we can go. Anything is recyclable, we can actually turn into screens. Get back to the community. This is going to be beautiful. I have a lot of work to do. A lot of work, a lot of things to write down, a lot of phone calls to make. Well, I can't have to make it after the holiday, but still. Are we stuck on this or did I just pause? Oh, that's actually moving. All right. Yeah. So I have to do some research. I got to figure out exactly what kind of equipment would be needed to actually and safely, you know what I mean, I have to bring in professionals to do it, to recycle, or maybe we can pay a company to basically recycle our materials for us. That would be interesting too. Or how would I actually have to go about doing this? What kind of safety guidelines and requirements would have to be needed? Because we wouldn't be doing it. I probably have a company do it for us, and we pay them to do it. And then we have to spray one of these screens, the formula to it to see how it marries well. We have to do some testing, like some outside testing, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff we're going to have to do. And keep in mind, this stuff can be coated on fabric and all kinds of stuff. So there's a whole lot of things we could do with this. I mean, just possibilities are actually, when you think about what we can do with it, it's going to be insane. I mean, just all forms of spandex materials that we can buy by the rolls. We can do acoustic screens. I mean, pretty much we have the option now to pretty much convert whatever we want to high-end screens. Because like I said, the new coating for the 17s are different. They're not like what the 12s are. The 12s, like I said, are amazing. We're still going to have it. Keep in mind, we're still going to have the 12s. 12s and 9s and all that. I love that screen paint. The blacks, we're going to keep all those. But I know with this other coating, like I said, this is more spray on, but the 21s, now mind you, the 17s are going to be screen paints, just so you know that. That's going to be an actual screen paint. But the 21s, the ones we're talking about building that crazy monster chemical formula, that is going to be a spray on application. That's the one that's going to be sprayed on recycle materials and stuff like that. That's one we're going to be using. There's going to be 3 phases of that technology, 3 different forms of that technology that we're going to be using to make our own projection screens. But when you think about it, the only thing we would pretty much have to bring an engineer in is when we have to build our own motorized screens. That's pretty much it. Unless I find a manufacturer that can actually pretty much physically make me have blank screens so we can actually get permission to brand our names onto it. But then again, I'd rather have my own screen built, because if I do my own motorized screens, I want them to be tension only. I don't want no ripples in them. I do want LED light displays on them, which would be pretty cool. You know, you have a choice of LED lights or non-LED lights on them. Would be cool. I'm talking too much. Yeah, if I talk too much, I guarantee I have companies that will watch my channel like, ooh, that's a good idea. And some of the stuff I can't talk about. There's some ideas going in my head right now about designing projection screens that are going to blow your freaking mind. It's going to be, we got some crazy stuff we're working on. And it's going to be, whatever we're designing has to be cheap, it has to be affordable, it has to be strong, it has to be sturdy. You know what I mean? So that way, you know, whatever we code it on, just have to make sure, you know, I guess there's a lot of stuff going through my head right now. But at the end of the day, the final line is affordable. It's always affordable. Imagine if I was over at one of those convention shows and I had this screen set up right now at 150 inches and they came over like, so what kind of projector are you using? I'm using this 720p projector that's 600 by 800 res SVGA. That's what we're doing this picture with. I'm like, here, give me a piece of your sample sheet. Let me show you something. Bam! Against the screen. There you go. Now watch me pull contrast level. Yeah, I think I would have someone trying to buy me up. But my technology is not for sale. No matter what, it's not for sale. It's for the consumer. let's see. This paint right here would cost you $98. I got that projector over there for $139. So let's say 140 bucks. All right, so we say under around probably altogether 200. You probably build a screen pretty much for on the cheap. A bed sheet would cost you $9.44, and a couple strips of wood at Home Depot. You only need probably about 4 pieces at $2 a pop. That's basically about it. Some staples and some brackets and all. You probably can build that screen for like probably about way under. You probably build it for under 200 bucks. We gotta do that. I gotta build me a screen for like a $200 screen, whole set with projector and everything. I wonder if I could do that one. Projection screen setup. Okay, $250. If I can do it for $250, build me a setup for $250. Yeah, it wouldn't cost you that much to do it. Look at that. That's when people sit there and they tell me and they say, well, 720p. Sorry about that. I lost connection there for a minute. Let me go in and get that fixed real quick. There we go. Yeah, 720p's are outdated. Like, no, 720p's are outdated. The screens just haven't caught up to the technology yet. That's the problem. Nothing wrong with a 720p projector. That's just nonsense. The big companies will feed you so you can go buy expensive projectors to go with their expensive screens. It's a whole hand-in-hand kind of thing, We'll do a demonstration. You show off my projector. You show off my screen. We'll put it as a package deal. They'll tell you that 720p is outdated. Can't get a good picture of 720p. The resolution doesn't come up. It's funny because my screen pulled up a contrast level and your screen at $5 grand didn't. And my projector behind me is $139. So what's the problem with that one? So no, that's not true. It's what they want to tell you. What they want you to believe, that you have to keep buying more expensive projectors. You know how much money projection screen companies would start losing if people were just buying their 720p models and weren't buying their newer models? Yeah, it's a business, people. It's all business at the end of the day. That's why people can wonder, so I have all these screens in my house. The majority of my projectors in my house are 720p. Why in the world am I going to spend the money for a 1080p projector when I get an image that looks like that? Now, we did the 720p side by side. We did 2 of them. We did one with the Chrissy and one with the top end Chrissy. Then we did another one with the projector I have behind me and a 1080p Chrissy. I did a 4K, which if you saw those links at the bottom, I did a 4K versus a 720p projector side by side. So let's bounce out of this one real quick. Now I'm gonna go into this one. Let's go pop in here. So if we see any difference at all, you're just gonna lose picture quality because you're using 720p. And at that, like I said, 600 by 800 res SVGA. People wouldn't even go near an SVGA projector. Like, oh, heck no. I don't want to go near that thing. Can't get good picture quality out of that. And all the while, your projector would have cost you $139. Can you imagine that? If you had a budget for a projector for $2 grand and you only paid $139, what are you gonna do with all the extra money? I could go to eBay right now, buy 6 of those projectors right now, because I know it's going to look like that on my screen. So my projector for the day would cost me $139 or $150 or whatever that merchant's selling it for. Because as old as that projector is, if that projector's over 200, you shouldn't be buying it. That projector should be somewhere around 140 to maybe 180. $180 for a projector. Now, the reason why that Viewsonic right there cost me $560 was because that projector had to be short throw. And I tried to get one on eBay. I tried to get a short throw on eBay. I couldn't find no one had them, so I had to go over here and buy one. And that's 720p. So my 235.1 setup, not 1080p, 720p. That's all I need to use. Let's come out of this one. Let's go pop over to this one. I know some people say, well, what are your settings? It doesn't make a difference what the settings are. It's a 600 by 800 res projector SVGA. There you go. And it's 720p. Compared to a projector that I have on the floor, my Chrissy, which is 1920 by 1200 WXGA at 4300 lumens. Now, for those who've been asking us about what to apply the screen paints to, just go to the website, look under the specifications, and the specification sheets, you will see exactly what you can apply it to. Pretty much everything. And when you think about it, pretty much everything. You can spray it on or roll it on, it's up to you. I prefer to roll everything on. Just get it out of the way, done. Unless you're doing like a, let's just roll it on. That's what I do, I like to roll things on. I mean, if you want to spray, you can spray. It really doesn't make a difference. I got to do a demonstration. I'm going to spray one side of the screen or roll the other one. You can figure out exactly which one's which. Now, I'll put the model number of the projector. Also, too, I'll go to Projector Central. I'll copy and paste the specifications so you can see the projector specifications on it. And you also will notice that in those specifications, when you go there, you will see it would say that the ratio is only 4.3. That's not true. Only projectors that would have a 4.3 are really old projectors. But I don't know why they have it in there like that. But even if I go in there and I look at any of my other projectors, they still come out at 4.3. So I don't know. But it does way more than that. These are 235.1s. I like doing this one. I love doing this one right here. This is one of my favorite demonstrations to do with girls walking around. I love that demonstration so much. What's going on with this? What's this right here? Oh yeah, told you, this screen's amazing. This technology. If I came on here and I told you I was using a 1080p projector, you wouldn't even have believed me. Well, actually, you would have believed me if I told you I was using a 1080p projector. If I told you I was using 720p, you wouldn't believe me. Got that one kind of mixed up, didn't I? Ooh. Yeah. That's what I told you. The screen's supposed to do all the work, not the projector. It's not supposed to do all the work. The projector does some of the work. But like I said, the reason why these screens are not performing well versus our technology, because like I said, they're used to using a very high-end, high-powered projector, where the projector does all the work. You should be able to go out and buy a 720p projector and not worry about your image looking like crap. And this is without calibrating, none of that. Let's go back here just a little bit. I like to go back to that iguana. That iguana looks beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. That color pops off that screen. That's code technology inside that screen. This is how your image is supposed to look in your house. This is why I don't own TVs. You never notice that I don't own one TV in my house. The only TV I have is a security monitor and my monitor used for my scanning. But other than that, all my screens in my house are projection screens. If you look at this stuff, now mind you, this is a 720p, like I said, 600 by 800 res. My projectors, my 720p's in here are WXGA's projectors in here. So if I'm using that, you know, in my setup, you know what I mean? Why in the world would I want a TV? Literally, why? What in the world would I want to buy a TV when I can sit here in a fully lit environment and see my screens with no problem whatsoever? Why would I buy a TV? Do you have any idea what a TV would cost you? This is an 80-inch at 235.1. Ain't no point for me buying a TV. I got a 50-inch TV downstairs that came with the house. They gave it to me. It's still sitting down there, covered up in tarp. I got no plans to use that for what? You want this TV? I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna use it for. I haven't had a TV in 11 years. I literally have not watched a TV in 11 years. This is all I use. So if you're gonna back your product, you know what I mean? Then you should use your product every day. Not just for demonstrations, every day. You watch me when I get up in the morning, I fire all my screens off. I got screens in the kitchen, you know, screens upstairs. If you stand behind your product 100%, this is what you should be using. I don't have a TV in one room, in my bedroom, and a TV here and TV here, and just have my theater room. No, I have screens throughout my entire house. This is all I use. I don't require TVs. I got a whole bunch of messages. You hear my phone notifications going off on my phone, right? Yeah, some of those are orders and some of those are basically, I can see the orders popping in. Some of those are customers contacting me about some people are now starting to put their money in to get other paint, actually I think I'm going to get a lot of sales for that black silver. The black silver sales crazy high too. So they're probably asking me about if they can paint it on this or paint on that. And I still get people asking me, can they paint on motorized projection screens and stuff like that. Paint on whatever you want. It's up to you. That's the whole point of the whole technology. A lot of you go outside the box. You know, when Goose Screen, a lot of those companies first came out, you could not paint it to any surface. You had to paint it to your wall and your wall only. Now, you know what I mean? The way they make technology now, the way screen paint should be, you should be able to paint it to any surface you want. Go and buy yourself a cheap white projection screen. Get them on eBay. Oh, I saw, okay, there's one thing I got to tell you real quick. So I saw something. I got to contact Amazon about it because I don't think it is what it is. One of the merchants is doing a little bit of false advertising. He has a motorized projection screen. It looks similar to the one I have upstairs, and he's saying it's indoor and outdoor. Any projection screen can become, a motorized projection screen become outdoor. It's whether it's weatherproof or not. That's the problem right there. If it's not weatherproof, you run the risk of being electrocuted or run the risk of basically shorting out and destroying your product. Now, of course, you're going to get your money back because in his advertisement, he did state it was indoor, outdoor. But when you say outdoor, what are you talking about? What kind of outdoor? Are you talking about outdoor as you can have on a porch? Outdoor where it has to have some kind of protecting, maybe a gazebo, or even gazebo's going to get wet if rain blows to it. So I found that kind of concerning because if you look at the Elite screen and how they designed their outdoor motorized projection screen, it's encased in some kind of weatherproof casing where no water or moisture can get up into the motor and damage it or corrode any of the parts. But for what I'm looking at here in this demonstration, not demonstration, but in this projector, it looks exactly like the one I have in my gaming room. And if water gets in that thing is gone. It's destroyed. That's all to it. So I use it for outside from time to time, but I have to remember disconnect it off the hooks and bring it back into the house because I can't leave out there overnight because I run the risk if a rainstorm comes through, my screen is damaged. So I don't think you should market something as an outdoor unless it's really outdoor. And when I'm looking through the specification sheet, it says take it indoor, outdoor. And it says bottom line is not saying motor resistant, but there should be something in that category saying that, hey, the casing outdoor specifications, that the casing is ballooned or sealed where dust and water or anything can't get up into those components and damage it. There should be some kind of specification sheet there saying that. There's nothing there, which clearly means he's stating something that's not true, and somebody could get hurt. So imagine if the inside of that motor got wet. And keep in mind, you get a little bit of dew outside, some dew accumulates outside, and things get a little wet. Sometimes things take a little longer to dry. You go early in the morning, you got that wet dew out there, and somebody decides to plug that thing in or operate it, that thing will short right on top of them or short out whatever's in the house that it's connected to. So that can end up costing you some more money. So, I'm going to call Amazon about to have them look at the listing. I'm not trying to have the guy's listing removed, but have him recorrect that because you really should be saying something is outdoor, especially an electric motorized projection screen is indoor, outdoor. You got to put a more of a clarification and specification for that right there. I mean, if you have an enclosed porch where nothing can get into it, you know what I mean? I don't know if they consider it to be outdoor. I don't really know about that one. But for me, outdoor is literally just outdoors, period. So I don't know about that. I'm going to get to the part where the girl was trying to which one I like that one the most. Yeah, I just got to, I'm not going to post the listing because I literally don't want anybody buying that thing. Oh, look, outdoor projection screen, get electrocuted. So I'm going to be using this projector all this week for demonstrations on all my screens. Yes, I'm not going to be using any of the big boy projectors for this week. I'm going to be using my 600 by 800 res 720p SVGA Viewsonic projector. That's what I'm going to be using. Just to show you that you do not have to spend a lot of money, and 720p is still a good projector. It's just that the reason why it probably looks like crap or it doesn't look well on your screen is because, like I said, our technology is the reason why we can enhance that 720p to make it look incredible when the other screens don't have that capability. And that's why, it looks like on other people's screens, and they go, well, maybe I got to upgrade to a 1080p or 4K or whatever. Nothing wrong with the projector. Nothing at all. If I can find me a merchant, they got a lot of them. I want to get a lot of projectors. We're not saying a lot of projectors. I mean, by buy them by the lot. If I can get a lot of those projectors, because I want a few more of those. I like those. Bring it up a little bit. Try to put that people. Just want to see the one with the girl one. I like those colors that pop out. We'll put those natural colors in real quick. Yeah, so like I said, not a bad deal. If you go out and spend, we got it, $98 a quart, and then the projector behind you, probably about 140, 150 bucks. That's it. Paint it on your wall, got a free screen, because you just paint it right directly on your wall and be done with it. Get some frog tape, tape it out. I always say the best way to paint on your wall, project the image on your wall, take the frog tape, trace it out, make it about an inch away from it, just so you have a little forgiveness room on there in case you don't have it mounted to the ceiling, just have it on the floor. Maybe you might have it sitting on a stand, and kids might bump it a little bit. That way you don't have to worry about trying to wedgie it right in there. You just have a little bit of forgiveness room in there. So you just paint it slightly a little larger than the actual screen. That's all. And you're done. That's it. It'll take you about less than 30 minutes to dry that screen. By the time you get done popping your popcorn, you're done. And this will be your setup right there. And you've seen me paint screens before. It doesn't take long. Just done. Matter of fact, we're going to do that. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll do a black silver tomorrow. We do a paint on black silver tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do a paint on black silver tomorrow. We're going to use my projector behind me, and we're going to paint and dry the screen. Use the same projector. We'll do it at 16:9 to 235.1. That's what we'll do. Show you how fast it'll take us to paint that screen in and be done with it. That fast, that quick. No calibrating, none of that stuff. Done. I love doing the paint on demonstrations. They're actually really fun. Like I said, look at that bright red. Like I said, not to put anybody down. It's not to put anybody down. Like I said, it just shows you right there. That is a, so you can see, that's a Gray Cinema 5D. Gray Cinema, Gray 5D, sorry about that, by Elite Screens. So 100-inch screen would cost you that. Would be $1,400, and our screen right there would cost you $98. Get my camera out of the way there. Just so we get up close, you see the difference. Get right up close on it, right there. See how close we are? Nice and close to it. So you think you're getting them. If I was doing this against a white screen, a white wall, I would have, and this is what, like I said, this is one of the problems I have with these high-end screens, and I told you this before, is that when they test their products out, they test their products against a white screen. That screen would easily be able to beat a white screen with no problem, because keep in mind, it's going to be to produce a better red. It's going to be to produce a bit high, not a higher white level than a white screen, but it's going to produce better reds in different colors and contrast, because it's going to be slightly darker than a white screen. See what I mean? So yeah, it's going to show an advancement there. But like I said, they keep testing their products against white screens. Anything can beat a white screen. You can just, like I said, take gray paint and splash it across the white screen. You're going to be able to beat it with gray paint. So it's not a screen I would really be doing demonstrations against, to tell you the truth, basing my hardcore demonstrations off. Where on our end, we test our products against their stuff, not against white screens. So, like I said, for us, it's a bit of a cakewalk. But I'll show you something real quick. Hold on, let me grab So I'm going to have to go out and get myself a Studio Master white screen. That's what I have to do. Get myself a Studio Master white screen. All right, so this is what I want you to see. Pretend my screen's not even here. It's not here at all. You're not seeing my screen. My screen's not here at all, okay? Now, you see, when they test their screens, they test their screens against a white screen, all right? So this is why they're going to be to show better color, better contrast than the white piece of paper. See that? Because they test against a white screen. This is not something you want to test your screens against, because anything can beat this. Anything can beat this. There's no challenge with that at all. So that's what they'll do. They'll base their screens off of that. And I think the reason why they do it is because the majority of these big companies out here are using white screens, But keep in mind, they sell white screens. You sell white screens, and yet you're showing you, look, this is the difference between, this is the more better advanced version of our technology here. And then they'll go and they'll get this one, which is the Dark Star 9, and put the Dark Star 9, which is the darker screen, which actually shows much deeper color than this one and this one and this one. You see how I'm getting that right here? So as the darker colors come up, like say this is their white screen, now we're talking about $500, and they got a lighter screen than this one, close to that one. That'd be $800, that'd be $1,400, that'd be $3,000 right there. See what I mean? So there you go. But all the while, if they sit against our stuff, they wash out, because we test our stuff against their stuff. That's why. Now you see what I'm getting at here. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you? If you base your technology's hardcore test off a white surface, and we come in and we're using your product to test our stuff off your highest screens, what chance do you have of going against one of our higher screens if our mid-level screens are basically outperforming your highest screen? There you go. And that's the reason why their screens can't pull up their images right next to ours. Because we could beat a white screen with no problem. That's nothing. But to test our stuff solely off your stuff, your highest and most advanced screens, if our mid-level screens are easily being able to outperform your high-performance screens, what chance do you think you have against one of the top screens? So we'll take these off. Next, I rest my case there. Yep. So, you know. That's why I said when you're showing off different forms of screen paints, you have to be to show a difference on how they react and how each one reacts. If you notice that our products don't all look the same, they all have different colors and different performance and how they react, you know. And one of the screens I'm more impressed with out of all my screens would be a black silver, because as I said before, when I first started painting the black silver on, I was on camera saying that I don't know about this. This might not be something I want to do, because it's a gray screen and it's going to come out looking bad. It's not going to be able to produce the contrast levels that I want. It's not going to be able to produce the color that I want, but I need to just shut my mouth to paint the screen because the Lord gave me that idea. And sometimes, yeah, I get a little doubtful in there. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. And when that screen blew up on camera, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. We got a screen pulling our contrast level? Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's what blew me away. That's where I'm most impressed over the black silvers, because 12s, I know they can pull white levels. We developed them to do so. They pull contrast levels that they're designed to do. You know, but a gray screen, not supposed to be to react this way. Like I said, easy to pull up those. Oh, the bright levels come up so bright on the screen. I love this freaking transition from the bright levels to the contrast. Like, I love this. This is what I just got to do this. I got to do this. So no, but I got to do this. I love this particular part right here. You have no idea how fantastic it feels when you can go up against high-end certified screens and be able to show a difference in what you're doing, you know what I mean? I just want to show off those bright levels first, and then just go back to boom, contrast. All right, so we're going to show off those white levels. And so a gray screen can pull those those levels in with no problem. Then when we come to the contrast, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Now screen switch over to contrast levels. You're watching a gray screen be able to read contrast levels. I love this. I say some of my naysayers, I call them naysayers, don't like this part of watching that gray screen be able to transfer over and that contrast level just push through. And look at that, boom. But it is what it is. God gives me the ideas, He gives me the mind to be able to build amazing things. I just love this. I love to see a switch over from that white level to that contrast, back and forth, and the screen just maintains, while the others are going, oh, well, guess what? This is the area we're not supposed to be at. I guess we're just going to bail out right here. I had one company tell me, I was working with this one company, they were telling me, well, you know, your product is too cheap, you're selling it too low, you know, your customers, you know, I mean, you got a certain customer base that can afford it, and we need to deal with that customer base. And I said, well, I didn't get into this business to deal with that customer base. I got into this business to deal with the other customer base. That's what I'm in for. You know, but your prices are too cheap. You got to do so and so and so. But I'm going to make sure within my contracts, if a company wants to sign a contract with me, listen up. If you want to sign a contract with me, we're going to have in that contract, these screens got to stay a certain price so everybody can afford them. Not going to be no markup, no greed, no nonsense, charging $4,000 and $5,000. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Keep these prices reasonable so everybody can afford them. Because I will even go as far as putting, I lie to you not, I'll put a $500,000 fine in there if I basically find somebody going in and marking the screen up so high that, I mean, what's the point? I mean, if we know the technology and we can design it for a more reasonable price, we know how much it costs us to make it. We don't have to spend the money on expensive surfaces and all that stuff. And we know how much it costs. That there's no reason why these screens should be anywhere near in a $5,000 mark, unless that screen is around 190 inches. Only time a screen should be in the 5,000 mark, if you're talking about a screen 190 inches or a little bigger than that, then yeah, we're talking about that kind of price. You know what I mean? But other than that, $5,000 for a 100-inch, 4x7. So when I set my showroom up, I told you I'm working on getting a showroom. We're using nothing but these projectors right here. We're going to use some of these projectors. We're going to do some 1080p and some 4Ks in there, but majority of our projectors are going to be 720p because I want to get that message out to where my customer walks into that showroom. They go, wait a minute, what? That's what? How much is that projector? Really? And it's doing this right here on this. That's all it's going to cost me? Because when you go into Best Buy and you look at their projectors, they are freaking crazy expensive in there. If you ever been to Best Buy and went to go look at a projector, they're not cheap. And people are saying, well, you know, if that's the case, you know, I mean, I might as well get a TV, because in their mind, if they get a projector, they're going to be sitting in the dark. You know, images are going to be washing out and fading. This is what most people have an idea what projectors are. They don't realize that technology we developed, you can be in a fully lit environment, screen doesn't wash, it doesn't fade, using like TVs, the whole 9 yards. But that's what we want to put that shock factor in there when we design this place showroom that you can walk into. That these people can go and look at the specification of these old, outdated projectors. And that's what we're going to be using, old, outdated projectors. None of our projectors in there are going to be new models. Every last one's going to be an old, outdated projector. Because when I have somebody say, well, why don't you use it on a 4K? Why don't you use it on the latest model? If I can make that projector look like this, what do you think I can do with the new model projector? That's an easy right there. That's an easy cakewalk. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to set the showroom up with old, outdated projectors because the customer can relate to that. They can walk in and see how much the product will cost them. I can afford that. How much is the projector going to cost me? Are you freaking kidding me? That's what, $140 and $150? We can buy a pallet of those things and just sell them off for a cheap price for our customers. That's how much, that's all I'm paying? Really? That's it? Have a demonstrate display outside setting for outside displays. This is all this is going to cost me, really? Wow. You know, there you go. We would sell more product than the other companies could within a year's time in no time at all. Because we can actually develop technology that would be far more advanced than theirs and would cost a lot more cheaper, and the customer would have to spend an arm and a leg, if he chose to, for a projector. It's like you walk into to go buy a Bugatti, and it's, oh yeah, this car right here, this Bugatti, yeah, you can get this for like 20 grand. Wait, what? You just say Bugatti for 20 grand? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. High, top of the line, high quality technology that everybody can afford, and you don't have to have an expensive projector. Because now the way that things are made now is you got to have an expensive projector, you got to have an expensive screen. Everything got to be more money. Football highlights. People are always wondering what football looks like in 235.1. A lot of you don't do it because, I mean, it looks good and all because it has the widescreen, but you'll be missing your scores and all that stuff will be gone. It's, you have to have 16:9 to run it. We'll talk about that later on tomorrow. Because I've had a few people asking me about doing 235.1. I said 235.1 is a literally dedicated screen. Just like TV.
First down and Sanders up the middle. Eagles now in Cowboys territory. Boston Scott in the backfield. From the down 40. Hurts can't find anyone. Takes off. Has a first down. From the Cowboys 29, it's Hurts following the fake to Sanders. And Jalen Hurts has another.
Let's go back some. Let's bring it back some.
There's Sanders. Miles Sanders picks up a Philadelphia first down. Two tight ends for the Eagles. 10th play of the drive. Second and goal. Hurts under pressure. Rolling to his right. Stays on his feet. Down the sideline. Touchdown. No question about it. Jalen Hurts stepped out of bounds.
So down at the bottom, that's where you separate these receivers from the man coverage.
Now tomorrow we'll do a full 16:9 screen. So we're going to paint the black silver in. We're going to paint a black silver paint on demonstration tomorrow. We're going to use the same projector behind me, and we're just going to paint it in real quick. Be done with it, and just hang it up. I think I might use my cardboard projection screen. Yeah, I'm gonna use my cardboard or styrofoam. I don't know which one I go with. I might use styrofoam and cardboard. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Let me see. Do that.
From concealer, courage, and confidence. Lumens for all the moments.
Sorry about that. I'm going to show you the light in the environment equals the screen. Like I said, just like a TV. There's no point in going out and spending all this money for expensive projector. So 720p. And we'll just take There. Mind, the projector behind me has a 20,000 to 1 contrast. That's why I said it didn't make a difference if you go out and you get a projector that has a 10,000 to 1 or 20,000 to 1 or 50,000 to 1. You'll never see it. Not even on a gray screen. Our gray screens can pull a contrast level that you will never be able to see on any other gray screen. That's the whole purpose right there. $20,000 to 1 contrast on this projector. So if you went out and bought this projector when it was popular at the time, it cost you $459. You're like, well, it's got a 20,000 to 1 contrast. I'm gonna take this home, set this up. I'm gonna pull me a black level. Now keep in mind, as I said before, the highest black level of all our screens will always be the 12s and 17s. They pull 100% contrast. The Platinum Eclipse are next. They pull another higher contrast level because that's a very dark gray. This is a gray screen, and it pulls a contrast level that is extremely so dark that you can take the Dark Star 9, which is much darker than my screen, and it still couldn't even keep up to that technology at a $3,000 screen versus a projector of 20,000 to 1. That's what I love about this technology. If I were to take my screen off and throw it against my black screen like so, that is the color of my screen right there. You never would have thought, would you? It's a gray screen. Just has a code in it that allows it to be able to pick up contrast levels. The other screens don't have code because you're bouncing off a surface. That's why. This, you're not bouncing off a surface. You're actually going through the surface and you're making contact with the code that allows the projector to be able to pull up and read contrast. That's what you're doing. So it's more than just a surface. It pushes past the surface, makes contact with the code that's embedded in the screen, and pulls a contrast level out. There's a story of a lovely lady. I'm gonna watch some Brady Bunch today. I think I'm gonna go back and watch all my old school shows from back in the day when I was a kid. I'll watch the Ultraman, and I'm gonna go back and watch some other ones. I'm gonna watch Marine Boy. Go back and try to get watch some old shows. I go watch some old shows from time to time. I'm gonna watch some Brady Bunch. Let's go over to let's see. What's going on here? I don't know what the heck was that all about. Let's go over to Samsung demonstrations.
Getting that from YouTube.
Where should they bring up the phone? Nope, they ain't bring the phone up. Okie dokie, that's good. Let's see what we got going on here.
Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray. Spray, light, rinse. Dawn Power Wash.
No. Please stop asking me that question. Alright, these are black contrast. These are some good black contrast levels. I'm definitely taking these. $60 frames per second. So that's why I like taking my screen out, laying against the black screen so you can see how gray that screen is. Then I bring it back over here, hit it with the projector, and you can see where the screen is using that code to be able to read that contrast level. Sorry about that. Back in my chair. Oh, sorry about that. Oops, my bad. Sorry about that, people. Let's go rewind that back. My bad. Excuse me. If he has any more of these right here. Oh, he does have these right here. These are the dark demonstrations. Yes, I'm excited. I'm doing the dark demonstrations. Yes. You have to understand this thrills me, man. You have no idea. Do dark contrast on a gray screen. So I get to watch that code react. I don't know what's more crazy. You're watching a gray screen react to a black contrast, or basically using a projector that's way below minimum, or doing it in a fully lit environment. I don't know which one's more exciting, what's going on right now. People are overwhelmed by looking at the projector that we're using, and then people are freaking out because the screen's gray and it's producing contrast, and then we're in a fully lit environment. All that to take in. And you're watching that water cascade off that. I'm just 720p, 720p, 600 by 800 res. I love when people go, oh, 720p is outdated. No, your screen's freaking outdated. There's nothing wrong with the projector. There's nothing wrong with the projector at all. Screens just haven't caught up yet, that's all. And they keep making more and more advanced projectors. For what? The screens haven't caught up yet. That's the problem. The screens are outdated. They haven't caught up to the performance of the projector. Something wrong with these projectors. They work perfectly fine. Let me get me another one of these. Nothing wrong with the projector at all.
The PayPal QR code is used in our farm store to take touch-free payments. We are seeing 70 to 80% of our farm store transactions are going through the PayPal QR code. We are not just sustaining, but we're growing.
This is a good way to start testing our coded screens. I like these demonstrations. Shows that black contrast and white pulling in and out. I like that. So we're going to start switching up our projector. I think we're going to start doing our demonstrations on the 600 by 800. There's no point touching the other projectors at all. Let me get something here. Phone's dying. Sorry about that. Phone's dying here. I gotta put it up on a charger. I like this right here. Oh, got a little dizzy there for a minute. Gotta eat something. Okay. Good, we're back on. My phone phones are dying. Let's see what time we have in this right here. Yeah, I'm going to start putting away my other projectors. We're not going to be using them anymore for demonstrations. We're going to be sticking, well, we're going to use back for the other projectors. For right now, I think for a week or two, I'm going to be using the 600 by 800. That's all we need. We don't need anything else. Because they were 1920 by 1200. It's good and all. It just doesn't, I don't feel it gets the point across. Then using the projector that's really, really like low res at 800 by 600 really gets the point across, because those projectors are cheap. Anybody can afford that. Anybody.
Nothing cleans better than Cascade Platinum.
The first thing I get from people is, oh no, 600 by 800. I bet you everyone in the ABS forums right now. And I say, well, look, I'm using a 600 by 800 res projector, 720p SVGA on my new setup. Do you think that's a good projector to use? They would laugh me out of that friggin' room. They would go, oh, heck no. Why would you use something like that? That projector is trash. You got to get yourself, I can see the jokes right now. You know what you should do? You should take it, open it up, fill it with sand, and use it as a doorstop. I can hear the ongoing onslaughts of jokes. And they're saying, yeah, you know, why would you do that? Like, you're in a home theater. Why don't you just buy a Viewmaster and be done with it? I can see the onslaughts of jokes, and then I show them this video. Watch your jaws drop for a couple hours. And so what kind of screen you got? Because this is my projector on my screen right here. Look, you can see the individual beads. I know how to do that. I start going to the forum sites. I'm like, yeah, you know, it's my projector right here. Just got it. You know, so and so and so, and la da da da. And you know, I'm just, you know, wonder this is a good projector. What's your opinion? Yeah, just watch the onslaught of jokes just come pouring in. Like, just do a video where there's no advertising, nothing on it, just a video of me showing the projector and this right here, just showing this. And just leave out of the room. Don't give them any information, nothing. Just leave out. They'll have to find me. That's usually what I do. When I go into forum sites, I bring the lowest grade projector and do a demonstration. And then just leave out of the room. I don't leave them any information. They have to find me. They can find me. They'll find me. They always do. They'll have to search for me. But they'll be able to find me. And they're going to be curious why they spent all this money for a projector and screen. They don't have the same quality, especially in a fully lit environment.
Pita sandwiches at Wawa.
You're going to love the zing, pow, crunch of tzatziki, Euro-beaded cucumbers.
Let me see if we got anything else. I'm gonna do this last one right here now to wrap it up. Got people calling my phone, so I got this as customers and I gotta get to them. I get off my stream for a bit. Got things to do today. I'll be on tomorrow. So I'm gonna be breaking it down to probably about one stream a day now. Because like I said, I got some things I'm working out for some things we're doing with the company, the showroom and other things I'm working on right now, charity groups and stuff like that. And it's gonna require for me to be on my computer a lot to get a lot of work done. So I'm probably gonna be just sticking it down to one stream a day. Maybe in the summertime I'll do two for outside, one inside and one outside. But I gotta start cutting them down now because, like I said, I've got a lot of paperwork and things that have to be done. I got contacts I'm talking to, you know, stuff like that. Just trying to get this up and going. And then we got some summer packages coming out for the summer. Some of those packages are going to involve screens with grommets that you can use it for outside, stuff like that. So I want to get some things wrapped up around here, let that play through and get ready to answer my customers taken care of. All right, thank you so much for coming in and watching, for taking the time out of your day. I wish you all a New Year's Eve is something coming up pretty soon. Very safe New Year's Day and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. We'll have tracking numbers out real soon for our customers. So if you're interested in the black silver, it's available on our website. 1 quart we have at the lowest is around $98, free shipping, and it will paint a screen size of 100-inch to 120-inch, 16:9 to 16:10. All right, thank you all. I have to go, and